Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Morning Garden Show, and the reason why I'm here is because I got to get ready to go to work in a short period of time. But I got my garden, all the seeds are planted in winter sowing. It's 41 degrees outside right now. It's windy and it's cold. Um, I'm doing good. I hope that all of you are doing good. Um, I put in, I was looking for onion seeds, but I didn't want to spend close to $4 for onion seeds, which is candy onions. So what I did was I planted the seeds I have on hand that I had. I guess 2 or 3 years I've had the seeds, and hope that the majority of them do germinate. But the seeds are good to go. They're in the ground or they're in the container. Once they grow up, I'll put them out in the yard, and I'll grow those type of onions if they survive here in Maryland. And onions produce seeds. So what onions will do is I'm trying to get them where they grow and come back every year because onions are very good with salads, cooked meats, and a host of other things. Onions. But I don't necessarily, if I could get these to survive, I don't have to have uh, candy onions, which I looked them up, which onions grow best here in Maryland, which is candy onions. Hello, how you doing? Food forest permaculture. Um, I went through, and I planted a container of what we call it yellow squash. I think I already had one planted, but I couldn't remember, and I didn't quite write it down because I've been worried about this right here. I bought this. This is my new um, gardening vehicle. That's what I call it. And I took it up to get it inspected. That's where it's located, and that's the name of the place. Uh, and the gentleman told me when he did the inspection here in Maryland, and he said, "Go ahead, have a seat." And I said, "It's not that bad, is it?" He said, "Have a seat." He said, "Let me explain something to you." He said, "How long have you had this vehicle?" I said, "I had it about a month." But really, when he looked at the paperwork, he said, "You had it about 2 months." I said, "Yeah, about 2 months." And he said, "All right, you got two bad shocks in back. They're air shocks, and they price out at about $379 each. You have ball joints that are worn out, and those ball joints are pretty pricey." And he said, "And the other thing is I'm concerned about is you have a sway. They call sway bar bushings. Um, I guess that stops your vehicle from swaying all over the place. But at any rate, they're all safety issues. And I bought this vehicle from these people here, and the service was real good. The service was real good, but when the guy it's a great looking vehicle. I like the vehicle. I like it, but when he uh, when he put it up in the air and he showed me all the things that are going on with it, I said, "Oh my goodness!" And so he said all in all we're looking at about $1,600, and I only had the vehicle um, 2 months, and I paid for it, completely paid for it when I bought it. Bring it back. No, yeah, I know. I wish I could do that, but I paid for it. It's all the way. It's 97 miles away. It's the place. But at any rate, um, oh, and then it was a leak underneath that they looked at. It was a leak, and he said, "I'm gonna see if that's your main seal or if that's something else going on." Buy older pawpaw trees so you don't worry forever. What trees are like? Oh, okay, okay. Forever and Like, yeah. Oh my goodness. Let me. I got to tell you something. Um, some of the parts for the tree, for not the tree, but some of the parts for the vehicle, my new garden vehicle, they're heavy. I tried to pick up the box where the shocks was in. You can't hardly pick that box up. Um, and I've handled shocks in packs before, but I never knew truck shocks would be that heavy. But I digress. I am waiting to get all of my vegetable plants once they germinate in the ground. None of them have did anything as of yet. They are in the winter sowing containers. I'm trying to come up with um, ideas on scheduling how I'm going to feed these plants. Excuse me, how I'm going to feed these plants because these plants are going to be in tight little container. They're in half-gallon containers, and this year I didn't have the gallon jugs. I had maybe maybe one or two, but this time around I got half-gallon jugs, and I put in onions. I put in yellow squash, zucchini. Um, God, what else? Okra. I have burgundy okra, and I have the regular spineless okra. And I did all of this in record time because I meant to get it done because I haven't gardened in a long time. And it was one young lady that got on the air yesterday. She said, "Could you do a video on you planting?" And I see my videos are going to go back to the yard. That's where they're going to go at because right now, since I've been in the hospital for 8.5, 9 months, um, and when I got home, the vines in my property, on my property, that came here, I believe, uh, in wood chips. Because I remember seeing pieces of the vine when I would look through the wood chips. I would say, "What is this?" I said, "These are vines." However, they got loose, but at any rate, they're everywhere now. They're all in the trees, all through the trees. And so, what I'm going to do, I've got to get down there and untangle all of that. Oh, hello, how you doing? All right, Mr. Price. He always leave messages when he looks at my videos. If he feel like there's something he wants to say, he'll leave a comment. I appreciate that. But the thing about it is just it's an ongoing situation where I have to really pour it on this year. I bought a lot of nice toys to help me in the garden. One is a handheld chainsaw. I think some of you have seen that. It's a beautiful, nice, heavy piece of equipment. It came with 2 batteries, um, and it talked about how long it runs and all of that, and came with 2 chains. Well, actually 3. So I got that. And I got a pole um, that is a chainsaw, and I got all this mainly for the fruit trees, which I have a total of I don't know how many I have now. I think I have about 13, 14 trees, maybe something like that. And I want to get them producing. Um, Now I know that some people feed their fruit trees. Um, I have never fed my fruit trees other than when I cut the grass. I leave piles of grass next to the base of the tree, or I'll leave wood chips next to the base of the tree. Um, and if you look, all of that's gone. It goes right into the ground. It's amazing how fast and how well that disappears over a period of time. But now I want to make certain that everything I grow is got a good outcome. because when I see the television, I look at some of the news reports, and I see everything saying that fruits and vegetables. They say here in Maryland, within about a week and a half, you're going to see the price that should definitely flex. It's going to change, and they say that the president um, is going back and forward with the tariffs, and that's what he's doing. I had no idea he was doing all of that. He's going back and forward, back and forth. First we have tariffs, then he take them off, then he puts them on, then he take them off, then he puts them on. Uh, but he got to realize the neighbors that he's dealing with aren't playing with us. They're going to shut off um, a lot more than just increasing prices. They talk about shutting down electricity to certain areas of the U.S. As far as electric is concerned. And I think that's going to be horrible, especially it's still cold now. But that being said, I want to make certain that I have more control over my food. And I got to get my it's called a rain barrel system. I got to get that back up and running. I got a piece of pipe that I lost somewhere. I don't know where it is. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. And uh, that being said, I want to be able to eat fresh spinach, fresh corn, fresh collard greens and kale. That's what I want to be able to eat. And the only way I'm going to be able to eat that and know where it came from and know what's in it, know what they put in it to grow it, is I'm going to have to grow it myself. I've always felt that way. But now is the time where a lot of us are going to have to get really smart quick on that. I work at a job where uh, majority of the people there grow no food. There's like one person I know there that grows food. And that being said, I've grown food for years, and I know how it feels to go. That is a good thing. I know how that feels when you go into your garden, and I've done it. And I went in the morning. I put on my sandals or slippers or whatever they call them, and I go out there, and I take my container with me, and I pick some fresh spinach. I take a few uh, zucchinis and some yellow squash. I go over to my area where my onions grow, and I take a bunch of those, some garlic. I go pick some garlic. I get back in the house. I cut all of this up, put it in a pan with a little bit of olive oil, and I'm gonna tell you something. You can feel the charge go through your body when you're eating right. And all of the food that I grow it using organic methods where I do not put man-made chemicals into my garden. Now, another thing is I don't dig up my soil everywhere. I just something I don't do. Some people do, and that's okay if they want to do that. But I don't like digging in my soil because what happened is I had a tiller at one point, brand new, bought it brand new. It was crazy to get home. I had to carry it home in the trunk of the car. But I got it home, tilled up the yard. I was excited. I tilled it up. I tilled it a second time, third time, put everything out there, and everything grew wonderful, incredible results. The tiller was, I mean, the soil was soft as flour. And then it rained. And when it rained, it everything got packed back down. The ground showed cracks in it, different areas. And I said, I wonder why it's doing that. Well, number one, I have clay soil. Number two, um, using a tiller alters your soil. It messes with the balance of the soil as well. And so I said, wait a minute, this can't be good. Because I remember the old saying, once if man made it, look out. So um, everything grew well that year. And the following year it grew okay. Still tilled it again. And the following year after that, I tilled it again. And then I started noticing, this is when I first started gardening. I started getting less and less and less and less. And I knew something was wrong. And I said, wait a minute, these cucumbers used to be huge. Why are they growing so small and so few? Why am I growing um, so far? I don't get enough collard greens, and they should be big, burly leaves, and they were dark green. All that changed, and I kept saying, what's going on? So I kept buying cow manure, and I kept feeding everything, and it just got worse and worse and worse. I put leaves in the ground that were uh, 2.5 feet deep, and let that go into the ground, and it just kept getting worse and worse. And I said, what's going on here? And I'm rotating and everything. But what I found was that it was most likely the tilling that was changing my soil, making it weaker, destroying the organic life that's in the soil. And so I stopped tilling, and my soil started to return after about 2 years. It started to return to a stronger, more vibrant, better soil. And then I said to myself, I wonder what would happen if I dug just a hole that I had to put the plant in. And don't dig up everything. Don't till anything. I sold the tiller, 5.5 horsepower Craftsman. I sold that, and then I went ahead and got me a shovel. I bought a couple shovels, and then I thought I'm going to get one of them wide rakes and just flip the ground up a little bit. Just go. But I said, wait a minute, don't even do that. Stop digging in the soil. And when I got the plants to get back to where they were, where I got big cucumbers and I got big cantaloupes and watermelon and things like that, I said, okay, now what did I do? I said, I stopped digging. I left the grass where it was. And all I did was dig my hole where the plant's going to go in, whether it be 4 inches or 6 inches deep. And I loaded the hole up with compost, cow manure, and that's what I did. Once I did that, I simply put the plant on top of it and watered it and allowed the plant to do the rest. And the plants were going, and I saw peppers that were big, vibrant, big peppers. I'm gonna look through this phone here and see if I have a photo of the peppers I grew. I hope I can find them. This is 1 year. That's some of the ginger I grew. I like to grow ginger. I have a whole pan of ginger downstairs that will go outside soon. I got them sitting on a heat mat. I started them really early, and the ginger is incredible with a little bit of honey and made into a tea. I love it that way. That's what I need to start doing. Start doing just digging, and wow, it saves time as well. Well, I don't know. I think I understand what you're saying here. I just don't. I don't dig. I dig as little as possible. Is what I mean to say. I dig as little as possible. I don't want the soil altered in any way if I can help it. And I leave all my grass. All I do is shave the grass down, and I mulch around the plant with the grass clippings. I mulch around the plant with the grass clippings. And that does a couple things for me, a number of things it does for me. One, it's a food supply for the biology. Two, it evens out the temperature of the soil around where that plant is. That means that instead of the temperature keep fluctuating in the summer, getting hot and then hotter and hot, cold, hot. No, I want it to stay nice and even in that location. It keeps moisture in that location as well. That allows me to water and the water to stay there, as opposed to um, it, you water and then the next day it's dry again. I put that mulch around there, and I'm not going to the store and load into the car or the truck big bags of wood chips for mulch. I'll cut my grass. I got a lawnmower out there I bought at Home Depot for $100. It sold for $300, and the guy gave it to me because he liked my show that I do, the morning gardening show, and he said, "I'm gonna cut your deal on the lawnmower." I said, "Okay." He sold it to me brand new for $100, and he at Home Depot. Yeah, I did mention that. So once you did that, and they had a bag on the back of it, a bagger, and I said, "Wait a minute, I can use this bagger." And I started going up and down the aisles and cutting my grass along with the weeds that were there, along with the grass that were there. So I found that if you leave the roots in the ground from your grass or from your weeds, you leave the roots there, your plants tend to do better. I do not believe that nature meant for the ground to be naked. Um, those plants are there, and those plants share certain chemicals that help them survive, and that's why when I leave the grass there and the weeds there, I just cut them down so I can function in the garden. And when I do that, everything grows beautiful. I mean, the best tasting everything that I ever eaten in my life. I never ate anything that tastes better than when I grew it myself. That's tomatoes, peaches, watermelon, cantaloupe. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And it was right there at my fingertips, right there in my yard. I had the ability to grow it. When I bought the house, I remember thinking, look at this yard. And I saw the size of the yard, and I saw all of the trees that were neglected that grew everywhere, the little weed trees, I call them. And they were growing everywhere. And I spent hours out there cleaning up the yard, getting rid of those trees. And when I did that, it was well worth it, worth the effort, because I put the garden in about 24 years ago, and it's just been incredible. It's been an incredible ride. So on that note, I'm going to head on because my garden is ready, and I got seeds in winter sowing, so they're going to get a head jump. So as soon as it gets around April, May, and those plants start to come out of the ground, I'm going to be ready. And since the accident, my body feels better because I've been following my therapy and using something called lidocaine. You get it at Walmart. I'm not telling anybody to use it, but I'm saying I use it, and it really works for pain. And it's inexpensive as well. Lidocaine. It comes in a roll-on, and if you have like arthritis pain or aches and pains from injuries or whatever, it really helps. Lidocaine, the quality you'll always love. So I wouldn't tell anybody to get it because they got to check with their doctor. But this I'm dealing with right now, this issue here, I got to get my vehicle, gardening vehicle on the road. That's the company I bought it from, and I love the service. I like the vehicle, except the vehicle had issues. It had a lot of miles on it, over 100,000 miles. And what else it had? Parts that were just worn out. The shocks in it, you could tell those are the original shocks. They're original, and they were expensive. And ball joints, they're original, same ones. So now all that's just being changed out. I just got to get a date to get to the mechanic and get all that installed. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping by. This is the Morning Gardener, and if you want to see more of me, please just leave a note sometime and say, "Hey, Morning Gardener, we want to see more of you." And then that way I can know that I can make time, put it aside and know, because I started not to do this today. I said, I said, not many people visit my channel. I said, so maybe they're getting tired or they get busy. So give them a break. They might be not wanting to really, uh, be online and get the information. Because I try to give out as much information I can think of at the top of my head. I try to give that information out because I know that it's going to help somebody. Somebody going to get it and go, wait a minute, I like what he's saying, or I can understand what he's saying. I think I'm gonna try that, and then that way they'll have some more success, and then I'll be sitting there going, I like to see when I see their videos up and they show watermelons and they show corn that's growing, and I could tell. And there was one gentleman, he was online, and he used to put he should go through his videos and say, I got this idea from the Morning Gardener, and that's what he would say. He would actually point it out because I'll do it. I'll know that there are quite a few ideas I got from Food Farmers Permaculture, and I'll mention that. I'll just mention Food Farmers Permaculture because he took the time out, and there was times where he would say, "Let me share this information," and he would share it with you. Look at that strawberry right there. Now, if I had that strawberry, you know what I would do with that strawberry? I would peel it, and I would lay it on soil or in the soil, and I would slightly cover it with about that much soil, and put it in a greenhouse kind of deal, keep it warm, and let it grow me some plants. Why would you want to go to a nursery, buy strawberry plants when you can buy some strawberries that you eat, find a couple of them that are overripe, or find a couple of them that got a good size to them. You say, wait a minute, I'm going to peel some of this skin off and I'm going to plant this skin. And when you plant them, it's going to give you all of these plants that you get for free. Oh, I didn't know that went out like that. Look at that. That's the genetics of that particular strawberry. And I don't mind growing strawberries. I grew them years ago. The only problem I had back then was the snails were eating them up. These were some good sized peppers, but I got them laying on my dirty tractor. And these plants produce a lot of pepper. And I found out that pruning the pepper plants, you can get them to produce more peppers. Now, I don't know why I'm growing all these peppers this year. I'm growing too many peppers. One being California Wonders, I think is what they call them. And that pepper is being grown to some peaches. They got a weird color, but they were really good. They were fat and juicy, and full of juice, and they were sweet. That being said, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You have a good day. And remember, we'll do it again. Thank you.